Obviously, open it up with Duke is going to be a challenge. Coach Kuckel's done a great job down there in Durham and of getting that program going in the right direction. He's known for being an outstanding offensive mind, one of the best in the country, and I think they, based on what we've read and what we've watched on film, you can tell they've upgraded their talent since he's been there. And it's going to be a challenge for our guys. But more than that, for us, it's about us taking care of ourselves this week and make sure we're ready to play and getting ourselves in tune and ready to go for this weekend. You know, obviously, like I said, it's going to be a challenge going down there to Durham. They got a good football team. We've had a good week of preparation last week, and we had off to a good start yesterday, and we're looking forward to going down there on Saturday.
Thank you. Questions for Coach?
Coach, can you talk a little bit more about how much more comfortable you are sitting in this seat as the head coach right now than you were a week ago?
Well, obviously it's set in a little bit more, adapting to the role as the head coach. And as I said last week, we got a great staff here, and they help quite a bit. Coach Trott on defense and Coach Legg on special teams, and the offensive staff that we have to help ease the burden and the transition that we're going through. But do feel more comfortable and getting more comfortable every day, and obviously there's going to be challenges as we go along, but starting to feel a little more comfortable as we go along.
Aside from the obvious, in what ways has the last week been completely different for you, and in what ways has it stayed the same?
Well, it's offensively stayed pretty much the same, a little less time to do some of the things that normally we get to do. It's where the staff's kind of helped fill in that void. But just having the opportunity to sit down and talk with some of the players and try to get on the same page with those guys, that's been actually a lot of fun. And I want to do more. That's one part of the job. The door's got to be open for the players all the time, and they got to know that we have their best interests at heart. And if they have issues, they can come talk to me. And I think that's one of the big things, just make sure organizationally, time-wise, to set aside time, make sure we got time for these players as they come in with different things, and try to help those guys out as best we can.
How have they handled the last 7 days?
I think they've handled it great. That's the thing I've mentioned before about the kids here at Richmond. Great group of kids here. We've got a very good, strong leadership in the older classes here, and they've continued to work hard. You know, it's tough. It's been tough on those guys. There's no doubt about it. You know, I can't sugarcoat that. It's been tough on them, but they have done a tremendous job of focusing. And at the end of the day, you know, I just had a conversation. You sit back here in the back of the room with Darius McMillan today. At the end of the day, they just want to win, and they want to do whatever it takes to win. And that's our goal. And if we can keep those guys on the same page with us as a staff, I think we'll do as good as possible here this year and hopefully this Saturday.
Can you take anything from when you were on staff in '06 and the win down there that you can apply to this year? I know it was 5 years ago, but is there anything you can tell them about playing the type of game like this?
Well, I think some of the biggest things we got to do is we just got to play our football game, not give them anything easy, and just keep playing the way we're capable of playing. I think when you get in these games like this is where you get yourself in trouble, is when you're giving them easy touchdowns and easy points to where they can kind of jump out on you and those kind of things. If we just play our game, play with the fundamentals, do the things we're taught and coached to do, and the things we're capable of doing, I think we'll be fine.
You talked about Duke being better than you've seen the past few years. It seems like everybody in the ACC is sort of leveling out, so maybe a win against Duke this time means more than an 06 or an 09?
Well, I don't know that. I don't want to discount what those guys did down there in the last 2 times we've been down there. I mean, those are great victories for the program, and you know, certainly, like I said, Duke's on the rise as a program, and so we got our work cut out for us, but we don't want to diminish what happened with those teams in the past couple of years.
Hey, Wayne, we presume you're going to be on the sideline.
Correct.
When was the last time you were on the sideline?
The end of last year,
Oh, you did go.
when we had the injuries at quarterback, I ended up moving down there just to make sure that. So, really, the last half of last year, I was back downstairs.
Prior to that, were you on the sideline in Virginia or were you upstairs?
I was upstairs.
You were upstairs here the first time.
Correct.
So it's been a
Correct.
while.
Mhm.
Full time there. Does that pose any sort of different challenge for you?
No, I mean, I got used to it at the end of last year, and you get a chance to talk with the kids on the sidelines. You get a chance to be around them. Obviously, you don't get as quite a good a view as you would up in the press box to see the whole game, but the trade-off, obviously, when you're the head coach and an offensive coordinator on the field, I think you need to be down there with the players.
You talk about the challenges of a season opener. You're not playing against a team, just playing against yourself all training camp, working out the kinks and, how long it takes to be game ready into the game itself.
Well, I think that's important at this time of year to make sure you're concentrating on what you do. You'd never know in a first game. It's one of the hardest parts of the first game what a team's going to throw at you. You may look like last year what the things that they did. You presume that most of it's going to carry over, but there's always something that people will do, a wrinkle-wise, certain situations, do things different. So what you got to make sure you do is you got to take care of yourselves and get yourself ready to play for the first game. And I think our kids have done a good job of that so far.
Have you been able to rehearse just the logistics of game management on your part?
We had a scrimmage last Friday, and we did it. Then we had the referees out there, so we got a pretty good look at it there and had a chance to work at it there. And obviously, we had been doing it before, and then with my new role, that was the only time we really had to do it was last Friday. But we had a good run at it last Friday, so I think that'll help us be prepared.
Fairly smooth?
Fairly smooth, it sure was. It was, and with Coach Trott and Coach Legg over there on those helping those units, they give me a great deal of information and help that be as smooth a transition as possible.
Being a head coach affect your play calling? Do you get more conservative perhaps or more ambitious?
I mean, I still think it's going to be based on what we feel is working versus a certain opponent, what things we can take into that game plan. I don't think it's going to change as far as what we did in the past. Hopefully we do a little bit better than what we did last year on offense. We should be better. We got a lot of good, I think we got a lot of kids returning and have worked really hard, and we're second year in our offense. But I don't think it's going to change as far as how I'm looking at how we're calling the game and that kind of thing.
Coach, every year now FCS teams are beating FBS teams. Do you feel like it's different now than it was maybe 5 years ago, that players on teams of this level kind of go into these games with a different mindset than maybe they did 5, 6 years ago?
Well, I've been on both sides of it. I was at Virginia and we lost to William Mary a couple years ago, and I've been on the side where we won. And I think the teams at that level understand now that there's some good football being played here, and if they take a team lightly, that they're at a risk of possible upset and those kind of things. But on our end, we treat it as a great, for us, just a tremendous opportunity to go play in an ACC venue and get a chance to play against a good football team. And we just get excited about playing in a game like this. So, I mean, that's how we take it, and it's a great opportunity for our football program and our football team. And, we're really looking forward to going down there on Saturday.
You okay with FBS games? Some FCS guys aren't.
Sure, I think it's great for the kids. I think it's a reward. I think if you play one a year, I think it's good for each of them. I think it's good for recruiting. I think it's good all around. If you play more than one, I think you're probably asking for a little bit of trouble, like some teams have done in the past. But I think if you play one and you rise up that day and give it your best shot and go down there and have fun and in a great environment, I think it's a very rewarding thing for the kids in the program.